Oh, it's all upstrokes, isn't it? There you go. Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show viewers, comments and questions live. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
Mick as per normal on the controls, making sure that everything is groovy and lovely.
Well, twisting knobs, Dan.
That's what I meant.
You never know.
So thank you all for joining us. We weren't here last week because we were poorly with COVID. Mick you were over the worst of it, I think.
I was, yeah. Although I didn't test negative until Thursday.
Amazing.
So we have a new appreciation for COVID. Those of you who have had it, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't fun. It wasn't as fun as people make it out to be.
And then what happened? I don't know. Maybe there was some vacation. It feels like we haven't been here for ages.
Yeah. Vacation?
Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah. What vacation?
Well, that was August, wasn't it?
But we were in the week before. I can't even remember.
I don't know.
I got COVID brain.
Welcome. For those of you who are new, this is That Pedal Show viewers, comments and questions, where we take questions from the floor. We prioritise the super chats.
Super chats.
For those of you who aren't new, welcome back.
Indeed.
It's been a minute.
Let's see. Roll call.
Yeah.
My brother's here as well. He's flown in from Australia.
Welcome, Darren.
He's joining us for a couple of days. He's brought his pedal board over, and I'm going to be rebuilding his board tomorrow.
Nice.
That'll be fun. So let's see where people are coming in from. So, John W777. Greetings, D&M from sunny Dallas. Lovely. You've been to Dallas, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah.
There's a great song about flying over Dallas in a DC-10 at night.
There you go.
Nigel Barnes is on. Hello, Nigel. We say a big thank you to BV Ninja for moderating.
Yes, indeed.
If we think of the comments section like the Hudson River, BV's in there cleaning it out.
Okay.
Is that what that do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's the pilot that flew into the Hudson? That's BV's job.
Sully.
Sully, there we go.
Yeah.
BV, Sully.
Sergio Martinez is on. Hello, Sergio. David Clark is on. James Green. Welcome back, Dads. Dads?
Heavens.
Dan's a dad. I've got a spaniel, if that counts.
Guess my name once more says sitting in the bathtub and watching my favourite show live for the first time. What great times we're living in. Greetings from Germany. Lovely.
Watching in the bath, that's good. There's a great joke, the punchline to which is, what about a hot water bottle biddle? You can work it back from there. It's a fart joke, basically.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Very good. Gordon Rankin, hey guys. BB, thanks. Dan, hope you're feeling better. Much better. Thank you, buddy. I'm mostly there. I've just got this annoying little cough. It's fine. It's just annoying.
And that's new, is it?
No, that's been with me from day one. So how weird is this, right?
It's been with you ever since I've known you.
So it's my birthday on the 16th.
Oh, happy birthday to Dan.
Thank you.
Dan got COVID for his birthday.
I did. And I was due to go. I had a meeting at 10:30 in the morning. At 9 o'clock, I was getting ready to go to the meeting. I thought, just I don't feel 100%. And I thought, we've got some COVID tests that have been sat in the drawer for like a year. I wonder what happens if, let's check it out. Because I've dodged it. This is the first time I've had it. Did it, and I sent you that picture. A little line came up.
Faint line.
Yeah, little line. And that was at 9 o'clock. By 10:30, I was in bed, wiped out.
Yeah, right.
So there you go.
You know, I forgot to record the podcast, Dan.
Okay.
That's good. Better turn the click track off. There we go. Now we're recording. See?
Very good.
Everything's fine.
Very good.
Everything's fine. Welcome to our podcast listeners on patreon.com. Thank you to all our patrons.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
We've just remembered to turn the podcast recording on. You haven't missed anything.
Yes. And for podcast listeners as well, our giveaway for this week.
Congratulations to Rob from Essex, who won the Boss MD 500.
Fantastic.
So, Rob, congratulations to you. It's winging its way. I wrote the card today, so it's winging its way to you. Next giveaway will be, topically enough, I'll do one of those unboxing videos like they do on the internet.
on the interweb.
Check it out. Oh yeah. Give us some unboxing music.
Okay. Ready?
More.
Sorry. Mr. Sean Tubbs, signed by Sean Tubbs. Look at that. Of course, massive thank you.
See, if this was proper TV, we'd have had some budget for that.
You got that for free.
As it was just
that
pure
was
magic.
Amazing talent. Well, that was.
Yeah, so if you are a current patron, the email may well have already gone out. Check your inbox. You're in the hat to win this signed Sean Tubbs Tilt Overdrive by Rev.
Spectacular sounding thing it is too.
Sean and the guys at Rev were very kind enough to donate. Happy days.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you haven't watched the show on Friday with Sean, please do. It was very moving.
It was. He's amazing
in lots of ways.
So great.
He is amazing. He's a great player. He's encouraged me to try a bit of this.
The floating trem. How far up does it go? Yeah, come on, nice.
Yeah. So regular viewers will know I'm not a massive fan of floating bridge on a Strat because what happens is if you do the lick that I play all the time, this happens.
You hear the low string go boo.
You get the detune. Ah. So you can't do any of that stuff.
You should find a way to get that sound into that lick.
You can do all
the all that stuff. Jeff Beck's is floating, right? Yeah.
I need not remind you that he is Jeff Beck, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sean moved us in many ways. Please watch that show. And if you are a patron, you'll go into the hat to win the thing.
What have we missed?
God. Let's see. This is Catherine, who's currently on her way to Corfu, reminding me that the email for Tubbs giveaway hasn't gone out. It can't go out because you haven't done the video yet.
Oh, okay.
So might be a good time to sign up for Patreon then.
All right.
Then you will be in the hat.
There you
Look at
go.
that. That's about as clickbaity as we get.
I love that she's watching on her way to the airport.
Yeah. Catherine's catching a flight this afternoon. She's like, no, I've got about 18 more jobs to do. Going to turn the super chats off right now because we need to be out of here at 6:30. Dan's brother has flown all the way from Australia just to see us. No other reason. He's got no business here.
No,
it's just literally to see the
hang out.
TPS student all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. So we do want to go out and have extended meat feast.
Come on.
So I'm going to turn the super chats off now. If you have super chatted, we will answer you.
Oh, Nick Tilleross gets in. Nick Tilleross gets in right at the line.
Nick's in there.
Nick's in there. Well done.
Right in there. And BV, thanks for the reminders. I have put it to record.
Who else we got on? Wow.
Steve Mass is on. Paul Matulovic is on. 3 OPMG. Ranzer is on.
Dave Johnson,
Wow.
Bill Green, Ted C.
David Rustad. Right. Super chat is now on. See, they're so sneaky, Dan. You have to do it 2 or 3 times.
Before they turn it off.
Yeah.
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 They like money.
They like money. Google likes money. Right then. Let us get into this week's super chat. Sam Colson is first in.
Hey, Sam.
Colson Prison Blues. Is that you?
You have a listen to the guitar playing on that.
Yeah.
It is devilishly hard to play. The way he plays it.
What did we learn last week, Dan? What's the guy's name?
Jonathan Luther Vandross.
Luther Perkins.
Luther Perkins. Oh,
Remember, we couldn't remember.
Luther Perkins?
We couldn't remember the name of the guy, could we?
No.
When Sean was on.
Yeah, amazing.
It's like a chat show, just worse. Sam Colson. Colson Prison Blues. Let's make that joke again, just to knock it home. He says, very pleased to see you back and better.
Yeah, so good.
Glad to see you back and better, D&M. Any tips for getting low electric noise when rewiring power? I'm swapping out a WA Phoenix for a Zoomer. I'll say it before Dan says it. You shouldn't have any noise. You should have no noise.
No noise.
So something's not quite right.
So, you shouldn't have any noise if what you're connecting is a bunch of true bypass pedals. When you start adding buffers in, as long as the buffers are quiet, you should also have no noise. Some buffers are have more inherent white noise than others, but if you're getting a low level hum, investigations are in order. Process of elimination. Start adding your pedals one at a time and test them as you add them. Weird things can happen with power. You might plug in your delay at the end and you get noise, but the noise isn't being generated from the delay. It's being generated from something else that the delay is picking up. But best thing to do, just add the things one at a time, and as soon as you hear it, you can go, okay.
Yeah, as he said, process of elimination. Try to work out what's causing it, because if you're just talking about normal RF, let's say you've got a single coil guitar, make sure it's not that, because that's going to happen no matter what happens on your pedal board. If it's a Strat or a Tele, and you're getting RF, and you're going to get really bad RF from computer monitors, from lighting. If you do a 360 degree spin, go all the way around. There'll be 2 points in that 360 degree where the RF will be minimal.
Yep. That'll be 180 degrees.
Similarly, if turning around isn't really your jam, just turn the guitar down and that will also tell you whether it's RF or not. If it's that, no amount of isolation on the board is going to help you. The only thing that will help you there is potentially a noise gate. We don't really want to get into that. So just understand what's causing the noise, and then if it is a grounding issue or noisy pedals, everything he just said.
Yep, but it might be things like fluorescent lights in your house, dimmer switches. If you live on the coast and you live in a sand-rich area, sometimes we used to gig loads at the Gold Coast.
Because they can't ground it.
It's very difficult to ground through silica. So we used to have
the wise man built his house on Rockdown where he could ground.
Where he could rock.
But yes, process of elimination. If you try and solve 8 problems at once, you won't get anywhere. So start one at a time, start adding things in, and that will tell you the source of the problem with any luck.
Yeah, indeed.
You should be good with the Zoomer, though. I don't know what the WA Phoenix is, but the Zoomer's pretty decent. Yeah, so you should be okay.
Yeah. Cheers, G.
Jason Thompson. Hi, Jason. Leg ends. Hope you are happy and healthy.
Very happy.
Well, we're happy.
Yeah.
Picked up the Duke of Tone.
Come on.
Great sounding pedal, but seems like it loses a lot of bass when engaged. Have you tried stacking these yet, like you did with the POT, Prince of Tone?
Well, the motto at that pedal show is never knowingly first.
Yeah.
So we don't have one yet.
No.
We're going to wait for everyone else to have them and say it's the best thing in the world. I don't like it. It's
and then
amazing.
We'll
clean up at the end.
Yeah.
We'll sweep everything else up together and go, yeah, so we don't have it yet.
No, we don't. We should get one. It does. So, hang on. Right, where do we start with this then? Let's take our favourite overdrive of the fabled Ibanez Tube Screamer. Cuts off a load of bottom end, load of top end, pushes the mids. When you listen to a KOT beside that, or a Prince of Tone for that matter, the impression can be of a much flatter frequency response. Mm. But then if you listen to that next to something that actually is a much flatter frequency response, it still does roll off low end and it still does push mids.
Yeah, absolutely.
In quite a big way, actually. So by design, it should roll off a bit low end. What I don't know about the Duke of Tone, whether it has any internal...
The switches on the outside.
Are there? So is there a low cut option? Do we know?
I don't know.
Well, you'll know this. You've bought it. Read the manual. And of course, the reason for that is when you start playing loud, and certainly if you play in any sort of ensemble situation, i.e. with bass and drums, you just don't need all that bottom end. Therefore, to lose it from the guitar can be very helpful, especially if you've got a small amp with a small speaker and a small power section, because a huge amount of power is required to amplify bass frequencies. Yeah. So in a small amp, it'll stop it getting flubby. But as you say, if you're used to that lovely big open clean sound with loads of bottom end, and then you engage your overdrive pedal, it falls away. Can be a bit disappointing. So,
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. Hobart Roadie says Tesla had a lot of trouble getting a good ground in dry Colorado Springs.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Tesla the car people.
Tesla the car people.
Yeah, I went in a Model Y at the weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Still hate it. Yeah. Yeah.
No, tell us what you really think.
Yeah, never for me.
Right.
It needs to start feeling like a proper car.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You know, like
yeah,
if you go into a German car, look, Tesla. If you go buy a nice Mercedes or a BMW, sit in that, drive it, shut the doors. That's what a car should feel like. Not like ping when you shut the door. And then when you reverse it up the drive,
you hear the sound of mega factories closing.
Elon Musk sending us a Scud missile. Actually, is he even still there? Didn't he leave?
No, he's there, and they've just released a humanoid robot.
Wow.
Yeah, that they're designing for mass production, which isn't terrifying at all. And
plays guitar just like a human.
And they'll do that all night for 20 quid.
Yeah. Sign me up. I don't know. My mate's got a Model S, like the top end Model S, and that's a bit better.
Right.
But it just, I don't know, still feels like an office on wheels.
Okay. I told you my electric car story. I walked into a nice electric car place. And I said, okay, what I want to do is I want to put the officer's address in, and I want to jump in with it, and I want to recline the seats and have a nap and wake up at the office. And the guy says, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you can't do that." So what are you talking about? We were promised flying cars.
Yeah.
This is a compromise I'm just about willing to make. He said, no, you're not even allowed to take your hands off the steering wheel.
You still have to drive the thing.
I'm like, no.
Yeah. Apparently, they're not talking about Tesla at all. They're talking about Nikolai Tesla, the electricity guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So apologies.
Alrighty, Nikola Tesla, the lightning dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Him. Yeah.
Well, he was amazing. He invented the alternating current. It's because of him we have AC in our homes.
Nice.
Yeah. He had a big argument with the other dude.
Oh, I remember watching a film on it.
Yeah, he was just the most fascinating guy.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Clef Turnip, more prosaically, wants to know, do old strings affect intonation? I say yes.
When strings go, absolutely. But they all go differently.
Yeah.
I remember getting a set of handmade strings, and I had great results with them. And I got one pack, and they were duff. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get the guitar in tune. And you tune it up to the tuner, you play an open chord, it's all wrong. Put new strings on it, sorted it out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I always find because every now and again we'll do a filming session and you'll plug in a guitar, same kind of what Dan's just saying really. And no matter what we do, no matter how many times you tune it, no matter how many times you play that open G and just tweak it, it's never right. Change the strings, it usually does fix things. So whether that's partly psychosomatic, I don't know. But I reckon old strings, worse intonation.
Yeah. Lee Tintle says Edison is the other dude. Yes, that's right. Thomas Edison was the guy that was
who either did or didn't invent the light bulb.
Well, yeah, but he was the DC guy, and they had a big thing in New York. And he with DC because DC doesn't travel very far, and you had to have these different substations.
Yes,
like every mile.
There's a film about it.
There's loads of films about it.
And Angus Young isn't even in it.
No, and it ends up with Tesla in the park feeding pigeons, talking to them, saying,
Wow.
"I can plug you in and make you electric.
You don't need light bulbs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he walks off doing this. Roll credits.
Matt Scott says, can you please make a zip-up hoodie with the amp tube logo? The answer to that is no, because the zip's got to go right the way through the middle of it, and it's a problem to print it. I suppose we could make it smaller somewhere else or put it on the back if that's what you mean. Anyway, nice segue to new hoodies at thatpedalshowstore.com. It's particularly nice, that one, actually.
It's very comfortable.
It feels
and I'm
very warm, Dan.
And
Yeah.
for me...
I'm sorry for touching you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's any time. It feels very warm, especially for me. And I've been cold for 20 years living in the UK. This is lovely.
It is interesting. He's there sat, and I'm actually now perspiring sat here. How does... Anyway. Probably still got COVID. Rodrigo Guaspari. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a great question, Rodrigo. I think you may have asked this in the regular comments in the video as well, which we haven't got around to getting to yet. He says, about Sean's video, Rodrigo Guaspari says, about Sean's video, how is G3 allowing him to have the compressor in line without burning a loop and still turn it on and off remotely?
Because that compressor is remote switchable. So in G3, there's got programmable remote switches. You can plug into the compressor and turn it on and off remotely.
So it's in line.
So it's in line.
So it's still relevant whether it's true bypass or...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if we've got anything with the remote switch. Yeah, so normally you would require the switch to turn the pedal on and off. Some pedals have an external jack which enable it to be turned on and off if you send it a
Here we go.
control message.
Well, it's just not even a control message. It's a
Well, tip ring sleeve.
It's a tip ring sleeve.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So
Yeah.
here we go. This is that Karl Martin Headroom, like my favourite small box reverb. And on the back, see here where it says remote switch. So I can have this back at the amplifier with small, from it will actually sit in an effects loop, and I can turn it on and off at the pedal board with just a remote switch. So there's no audio going from the cable from the board back here. It just turns it on and off.
So
Very, very clever.
G3 and G2 for that matter have 4 remote switches.
Yes, we've got 2 sets of stereo TRS remote switches.
Yeah, so you can, as part of the patch or as part of a preset, you can tell it to turn any one or all of those 4 remote switches on.
Yeah.
One of those might be, please turn my compressor on. So that's how.
Or change channels in the amp or whatever. So,
So it's not in a loop, but it is in line, it is in signal line, so it does matter that it's true bypass. If it were buffered, then obviously that buffer's going to affect everything else that's going on.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed.
There you go.
Very good.
I didn't realise that. Stuart Peel. Hi D&M, says Stuart Peel from Australia.
G'day, mate. Bonza.
Been watching you for years, but I rarely comment. I can't watch you live. Many people can't, Stuart. Oh, I see. Because I'm in Perth, Western Australia, and it's way past my bedtime. But I love what you do. No question. Just keep on doing it. Well, thanks
cheers,
very
mate.
much. That's very kind of you.
I love Perth. It's the first time I ever saw the sunset over the water was in Perth, because it's all the way west. And
oh, of course. Otherwise,
it's
yeah. And Australia's so big, there's enough Earth curvature.
Indeed, if you believe that sort of thing. But anyway,
look, the plane flies. How can it be?
But Perth is beautiful. It's such a beautiful place, and it's so funny because it's far enough from everywhere else in Australia. It has its own accent, and I got off the plane, so he goes, "Hello, how are you?"
Yo.
And you, hello, and I'm like, "What is going on?" But yeah, it's an amazing place.
Its own dialect.
Yep.
Hank Marvin lives there too. I'm given to
Does he?
believe. Yeah.
But living in the UK, I travel 10 minutes in any direction, and the accents are all different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But Perth is closer to Singapore than it is to Sydney.
Get out.
Yep. because it's straight so big. Wow. Yeah.
We did work out last week that the USA and Australia are roughly the same width, but because America is taller, it has more square mileage.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the sort of stuff people come here for.
Because it's all about
Geography.
The number. It's all about the number.
Exactly.
And what's geography, Daniel?
It's about a quarter of my son's GCSE.
It's not about where places are.
It's about why places are. Ah, there you go.
There you go.
Hang on, let me text Zach that because he's
why
failing
places are
geography.
where they are. I remember him. He was the guy that used to throw the board rubber at us. Taylor, shut up! Back in the days where you could abuse school children and not get put in prison.
So many of my teachers would be serving time right now.
Oh man! Clip round the ear, board rubber, all of that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Thankfully, nothing more sinister.
Okay.
Let's move on. Sergio Martinez.
hello, Sergio.
Howdy, legends. Dan, I hope you're well and truly on the mend.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yes, so much better and very much on the mend. Thank you.
You were missed.
Ah, bless you.
My question is, what do you guys think of a wound reverse polarity pickups in Strats? Are there any reasons to avoid them?
Such an interesting question, and I'll let Nick answer this.
There are more reasons to choose them than to avoid them, I would say.
And yet the reason to avoid them.
Well, I'll set out the debates. For those of you who don't know, in a Strat, typically in a standard normal Strat, 3 single coil pickups, and they have a wind direction, and they have a magnetic polarity. So in days of yore, they were all the same, i.e. wound in one direction and would have magnetic polarity in one direction.
Because they didn't have a bridge, middle, and a neck pickup, right? They just wound pickups and put them in.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
In a humbucking pickup, I don't think I've got anything open coil here, but underneath this cover here are 2 of those coils, and one will be wound one way and have one magnetic polarity, and the other one will be the opposite. That gives you your hum cancelling. That's
humbucker.
Thus humbucker. That's how they did hum cancelling. So back to our dear Strat. If you make the middle pickup reverse wound, reverse polarity, when you go into the cut position.
The what?
Cut.
Yes. Thank you, Sean.
To quote Sean Tubbs. In positions 2 and 4, this becomes humbucking. And therefore, even with pretty noisy pickups, you can go from quite problematic RF, extra noise to no noise at all by using the 2 and 4, and that's why it's useful. The other thing that happens is, and this is more debatable, but certainly my experience would be that you get a bit more of a mid scoop as well. They get more quacky, more of a sort of typically snappy, stratty, quacky kind of tone when they're RWRP, reverse wound, reverse polarity. If they're the same, tends to be a bit of a thicker sound.
And simply from experience, when we've had, when you put what was the set of pickups that you had that didn't have the reverse polarity in it?
I have all of my favourite ones now have that.
That don't have reverse polarity. The first set I heard it in, the German
Kloppmann.
The Kloppmann pickups that weren't reverse, and it's like, and it was a thicker. It still had that classic, bridge middle or neck middle sound, but there was a difference in the mid range. There was a difference in the, I don't know.
Yeah.
It did, but yeah, it was less scoopy.
And I definitely, depending on the guitar, sometimes I might want it, and sometimes I don't want it. And on this, the most traditional sounding guitar of all, I don't want it. I'd rather they all be the same wind and the same polarity for that thickness in the tone. The downside, of course, is you don't get the noise cancelling thing, which can be a big pain sometimes when we're recording. The last thing to say is, many years ago, I had the great pleasure of interviewing Bill Puplet and Johnny Marr when they did the
the signature Jag.
Yes, Johnny's signature Jag, which, as Jag fans will know, have 2 pickups. They look a bit like Strat pickups, but they're not
Where's
really
my
like
Jag?
Strat pickups.
Put away, isn't it?
It's away.
Okay.
Johnny decided he liked them the same wind and the same polarity because he felt, and Bill felt, that if they were RWRP, those 2 pickups, they acted on the string in a non-advantageous way.
So interesting, all that stuff. Bill Poppert would be a fascinating guy to have a chat to.
So, of course, that planted the seed of doubt in my head, which said, man, this middle pickup is really destroying your tone. Which it isn't.
Which it really isn't.
But it's in my head that it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. That's the story of RWRP. Tim Mills from Bare Knuckle Pickups made a really good video on it. And basically said, can you hear any difference? And I think 99% of people who watched the video said, nah, can't really.
Right.
I can,
Cool. Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Maybe those idiosyncrasies get lost over the tube, and maybe they get lost when you step on a different overdrive pedal or set your amp a bit different.
I've just done a video about this guitar, which I think will be going out this Friday.
It will.
And I changed the switch in the pots, and I came back in, and Hades of Valhalla was filming. Hayden, our mate, who helps us out. Anyway, I came back in, and we plugged into I was using the Lazy J, and they hit one chord, and we both just went, bloody hell. It was like, it was drastic, the difference. And yet hearing back on the audio, the difference is
Much less.
much less.
Yeah.
And we were both freaking out, you know.
It's there, you can hear it.
You can hear it, but it's like, but I was like, my mind was blown. I'm like, hey, did you record that? You know, it's like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, incredible. So sometimes those things are lost, you know, and yet there are comparison videos where it's like, you know, you can't hear the difference. Actually, you really can.
Yeah,
You know?
and it will be the difference in context. So your normal rig, you change something and then you notice the difference, but then you've only got to tweak something to iron most of that difference out. So, but yeah, that's the story. Just again, to put it in context, if this is what's important about a Strat,
That's a tiny bit.
it's that bit.
Yeah.
It's that important. You know, the rest of it is how does it feel? What does it look like? Well, what does it look like? What does it look like? What does it look like? And then all the other stuff.
Indeed.
But you know how it feels, the setup, all those things that we know are really important are arguably infinitely more important than that little thing. That's what you're into, real tweakery at that point.
Yeah. Welcome to that pedal show.
Yeah. Welcome to the pedal show. Good. Oh god, I haven't pressed pause down. Using up all our bandwidth on streaming the video.
I was going to say.
Nigel Barnes. Nigel, now you super chatted, but your question didn't make it through, and I do believe it's here up the top somewhere. Come on. Maybe we've missed you.
I don't have anything from Powers That Be.
If I know BV, he will have copy and pasted it
Indeed.
and sent it in a text message.
Oh, I just got a text from Ariel Posen.
He's playing in Bristol
He is
tonight.
playing in Bristol.
And we can't go because we're doing this.
Indeed. He's in Guildford tomorrow night.
Ooh, that could be doable.
It isn't doable for me, unfortunately.
That could be doable. I need to find some dog care. Would love to see you,
Yeah,
Ariel.
would love to see him. It'd be
Would
amazing.
absolutely love to see you. You came up in my iTunes the other day. It was a tune off How Long, and it was like, man, it's a great record.
Yeah, I've got that. That's the CD I've got in my car.
Yeah.
And it's on high rotation. It's really, really beautiful.
Right, Nigel Barnes, all the way from Canada. says-
Swing better.
First of all, how good is Sean Tubbs?
Amazing.
Should we do the TPS goodometer, Dan? Yeah. Actually, on your looking from that way, it's probably over that way. So that's how good Sean Tubbs is. He says, I'm fully on board with the Sean Tubbs band. Right, do you have any suggestions for overcoming red light fever, red light syndrome?
I don't. If you find any, please let me know. The only thing is do it lots and lots and lots.
Do it lots and lots. It's all the same stuff that you'd do if you did yoga or practice mindfulness or had therapy sessions. It's about getting your head into this moment right now and out of worrying about everything past and future. And that's the same whether you're grabbing somebody's nutsack in a jiu-jitsu competition.
It's what Mick calls my jiu-jitsu, ball grabbing.
With apologies, I know. Someone's just going to deck me in an airport one day, aren't they? And actually pull them both off.
And grab him and you shove your thumb right up his bum.
Yeah, it comes from, bless him, the dearly departed Steve Irwin. Anyway, whether you're doing some sort of extreme sport or you're driving a racing car or whether you're playing a guitar or whatever it is you're doing, it's about getting rid of all the stuff that surrounds it and just doing the thing and trying to lose the baggage and crap that you carry and just be conscious and present in that moment of recording. And that's obviously pretty hard. How do you do it? Breathing is really good. Doing it loads is really good. And there does come a point when you've done so much of it, or when you've done a goodly amount of it, that you do start to forgive yourself a little bit for all the what you perceive as not quite so good.
Yeah.
And you'll come to accept a performance as what it is. And in your head's going to be saying, I can do this better and better and better. The evidence is there to say that take 61 is pretty much always worse than take 3.
Sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just do more of it. And I guess try and rid yourself of the worry that there's so much hanging on it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any further suggestions for that.
Even so, here's the dichotomy, if that's the right word. It's so important to us, but the key is not attaching importance
Yeah.
to what you're doing. It's just letting it flow.
Yeah.
And I was doing some takes for my EP, right? And take 30 or whatever it was, and I'm like, this is all rubbish. I couldn't remember anything I'd done. I sat there and listened to them, and in the middle of it, when obviously I'd stopped caring, was this one take.
There it is.
And it's like, I don't remember playing any of that.
No way.
And that was the one that was there. And it's like, I stopped. It's so really great thing that Ed O'Brien took us through when you're doing that stuff. It's like, first thing that happens is think, okay, I've got this. Oh, I'm really good. And you have to listen back to it and go, oh, it's not that great. Then you listen back to it again, oh, it's crap. Listen back to it again, oh, I'm crap.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, the other way. But that's the cycle.
I'm never playing guitar again.
Yeah, throwing it in the bin, and then, oh, hang on, I like guitars, and then it comes back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about, because when you attach so much importance to it, and you're not able to relax because it's like, oh, this is everything, and yeah.
The other thing is you can often be worrying about other stuff as well. So if you're self-recording, I do this all the time. You're so conscious that the machine's working right, the mic's in the right place on the amp.
You can't just relax and do it.
One suggestion for that might be get all that set up. Don't expect to record anything. Just get it all set up, do a load of tests, make sure it's all working, and then stop. And then go away and have a cup of tea or whatever. And then come back to it, knowing that it's all working. Yeah. And as best you can, try and stop worrying about the red light. Being across your technology can help too. So instead of, in most recording software, instead of having to press stop and record again, you can set it up so that it'll loop many takes. So figure that out. Maybe.
Yeah. Good luck, mate. It's a very common thing that everyone goes through.
If it's any consolation, I've sat in front of a video camera with some of the world's best guitar players, and they suffer with it unbelievably badly.
Yep.
So it's not unique. You're not the only person struggling with it.
Oh, Tim Lurch. Good day, mate.
Hello, Tim.
And he says the catch is that trying to rid yourself of excess thinking is already too much effort. So it's already, a really tricky thing.
Already psychological.
Because as soon as you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to get rid of this thinking, you're into thinking. Yeah.
And thank you for the blues for Mick and Dan as well.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And Tim sent me a message because he watched the Sean Tubbs video about playing outside, and he's given me some homework to do.
Nice.
Which I'm going to
Buy a big
absorb.
coat.
Yeah, play outside. Get out. You out. Yeah, but thank you, mate. We really appreciate having you chime in and stuff, and it's
Right, Nigel's supplementary question I'm going to let Dan answer while I go and sort the dog out. Is about how do you get the delay sound on David Bowie's Let's Dance. Now, BV has already answered this to a point in the comments. Dan is going to elaborate and explain while I go and sort that pedal dog out.
We don't have it set up, do we?
Do you want me to set it up?
No, not really. It's because it's really...
I'm going to do it, Dan.
All right, set it up.
You start explaining.
Okay, so...
You start explaining.
It's a lot simpler. It's a lot simpler than you think. So the story goes that Nile Rodgers was producing the album for David Bowie, and David Bowie wanted to produce a dance album, and so Niall starts doing his thing and the guitar that he's playing, because obviously if you think of is there some called Le Freak or Le Chic?
It's Le Freak by Chic.
Le Freak by Chic, there you go. And yeah, all that stuff that Niall's, his groove and everything is so beautiful. So anyway,
hang on, I have to sort the dog out.
Yeah, let her in.
She's going nuts.
So
she's got a bone. It'll be really noisy.
It's all right.
Do you need a wee wee, Rosie?
Come on, darling.
Come see Uncle Dan.
Hey, pretty
And
girl.
we'll go for
Come
a
on.
wee wee.
Come on. Good. Yeah. So anyway, Niall plays this track. Let me see if I can. So he goes.
3 strokes.
There you go. So that's the rhythm he plays. He goes, and it's all upstroke. Says 1, 2, 3, 4. That's his rhythm, right? And so when people hear that on the recording, they think it's all this really complicated, triple dotted eighth mixed in with whatever. And actually, it's really simple. So
I'm going to set the DD200 up now. Dan, explain to me how to set the delay up.
So what you want is an eighth note.
Eighth note.
Which
Okay,
it should
so
be.
we're going to set the tap division to eighth note.
So keep going. That's it. Oh no, too far.
Boom.
There you go.
You could set it to a quarter and tap it twice as fast.
You absolutely could do that. Yep.
And we want a standard digital delay.
Yep. So we want to try and keep the guitar as clear as possible.
Have I got any signal?
There you go.
Hang on, that'll probably blow their flipping brains out. Go on.
That's it.
The slightly annoying thing is the pick of Dan's strings will be louder than what's coming out of the amp, so hopefully you can hear this.
There you go.
Right, so give me the tempo of the song.
So 2, 3, 4.
Do, 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 do. Oh, hang on, I'm just going through presets here. That's no good. That's no good, Dan. Standard. Come on. Right, let's try again.
Okay.
So what are we on? Eighth
1,
note.
2,
Hang on.
3.
Got to get back to me eighth note.
Okay.
It's really annoying. Right. Da 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 da.
That's it.
Do 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 do.
That's it. So
Ba, ba.
if you turn it off for a second. So the rhythm is. But now if you hear that with a delay. So it is just an eighth note delay.
I
So
just want to try and people are getting that. Go on.
3, 4.
Nice.
Da, da, da. Ba, ba. Da, 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 da. And that's all it is. And because it's that upstroke when he plays when he plays. So that upstroke, when that's delayed against the first downstroke, you get the but, and that's the delay you hear, sort of, that upstroke delay.
When you watch Niall's own explanation of it on YouTube, he plays various rhythmic patterns, but the basic pattern is 3 strokes, isn't it?
Yeah. But. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Just for the benefit of those of you listening, there's a limiter on the vocal mic, so it'll sound like there's massive compression on the guitar. There's not.
And it sounds like there'll be a dog ripping something apart, and just
pretty soon, yeah. Rosie. Mummy's gone on holiday, you see, so Rosie's a little bit bored.
Come on, darling.
When we're doing things. All right, so what that was a straight digital delay, quite a lot of effect level, 3 or 4 repeats.
Yep, that's it.
And for the fact fans among you, it's 300 milliseconds tapped on an 8th note.
There you go.
So you'd have to tap 150 if it was a quarter note, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
It's really simple. It's an 8th note delay.
Roughly. The actual tempo of the track might be different, but that's very instructive, Dan.
And then there's that.
So Stephen Raymond.
It's the Stephen of Raymond.
Stephen Raymond of Vaughanshire. I think that was one of the most useful things we've ever done on this show.
Ever.
Yeah.
Thank you for setting that up. That was great. It's like
I am qualified. That's the thing.
You are indeed.
But now I have to carefully pack all the cables away, otherwise my OCD won't allow it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not allowed to say I've got OCD. I don't have OCD.
Well, it's a sliding scale.
I don't think I'd be diagnosed.
No? You're just neat and organised.
If you could hold the fray, Dan, I need to go and deal with the dog. Would you like to see the super chats?
Sure.
This is what they call on the radio dead air. Right, Daniel. Michael Giliberto is next, and then James Blest is next.
Okay.
I just need the dog to enact some toilet operation. Come on then.
Okay. Missed you guys and hope... from Michael Giliberto. Missed you guys and hope everyone is in good health again. Sean Tubbs, what a great player in person. The episode on OD order was definitive. What next? Demo of parallel ODs? Actually, we were talking about doing some parallel ODs. Yeah, we can definitely do that. The parallel thing is absolutely fascinating, and you get some amazing sounds out of it. Yeah, we can have some fun with that. Yeah, we'll put that in the schedule. Thank you, Michael. We'll give that a go. James Blessed. No question, just a heartfelt thanks to the whole TPS team for making me feel so welcome at the Experience Day on Friday. I absolutely loved it and will be back as soon as I can. Thank you, Dan, Mick, Catherine and Rosie. Oh, mate, you're so welcome. It was great to have you. It was a wonderful session on Friday. And we love our Experience Days. It's so great just to hang out with everyone. Yeah, really awesome, mate. So thank you so much for stopping in. Plexico, g'day, mate. He says, dang, I overslept and got my question in too late. DNM, hope you're 100%. The shows have been... the Sean Tubbs pedalboard overview was nice as he is. So when you get a player of Sean Tubbs' calibre in, what's really fascinating is, I mean, the shows are great and, you know, filming and everything's great, but Mick and I get to hang out and, you know, and setting up the gear and just, you know, the discussion of, we try and capture as much of that discussion as we possibly can. But yeah, there's the, all the stuff that happens sort of, you know, as you do, just mates hanging out, and we get to ask him some, you know, questions about his styles and playing and that sort of stuff. And I filmed a little clip of something that he, a few licks that I've heard him play, and yeah, really is really special. So yeah, thanks, mate. Okay, Josh Connette says, just got tons of gear and play a ton. But going through dry guitar spell learning-wise, even though I've played the most shows in the last month that I have in my life. Tips for inspiration. Much love from San Diego.
Ah, San Diego.
San Diego.
Who was that? Josh Connett.
Josh Connett.
Hi, Duncan. Plexico, by the way. Sorry I missed you. Guitar dry spell. Most shows on. Oh, that's interesting.
So, one of the things that I
that's so
found when I
interesting.
was playing like 4 or 5 nights a week is that it became a job,
Yeah.
and I didn't play very much at home. And it's you know, look, no matter what you do, if you're playing loads, it's always fun. You know, playing guitar is always fun, but it can be, you know, you've got to be somewhere to load in at 3 o'clock and you don't go on until 9, and, you know, you're getting back at 2 o'clock in the morning, and those things can be draining. Yeah. Listening to music, listening to stuff that you find inspiring is always a important thing to do. You know, not losing sight of why you play guitar in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know if this helps at all, but I remember when I was doing, you know, normal day job as well as other stuff, and no matter how busy I was playing guitar, if I was doing anything else that I didn't really want to be doing at the time, I'd always think, man, I just wish I was playing guitar. You know,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? I'd love playing guitar so much that it just reminded me that if I was doing other stuff I didn't want to do, I'd always rather be playing guitar.
I think what happens then is you then. So at one end you've got full-time pro players, and Sean touched a little bit on this in the video on Friday, where, you know, you're playing all the blooming Enormo domes all across the world. It's amazing, but it does get old.
Sure.
Not least because of the touring schedule, the immense loneliness.
Yeah, totally.
Would you believe, from the hours and hours of travelling and all of that. So that's one thing, and I don't think most of us are ever going to experience that. If you rewind from that and get back to kind of what most of us do most of the time, so I don't know, there are a lot of pro guitar players who watch this channel, but there's a tremendous number of people like me and Dan who basically have jobs and play largely for fun.
Sure.
I think what happens is when you're doing what you just said, you know, when you're not playing, you're like, oh, I can't wait to play again. And certainly all the way through COVID, this might play into that as well. All the way through lockdown, you're like, oh, I just can't wait to get out and play again. It's going to be so great. And then I've had this exact same experience just recently, probably done more gigs in the last 5 months than I've done in the last 3 years.
Right.
And I think the truth of the matter is my expectation of how great it was going to be versus the actual experience, there was a gap.
Sure.
So I too was feeling a little, what would you say, disappointed, uninspired.
Right.
So it might just be that, and I'm not saying this is the case for you, but there was one gig in particular which was a really hard gig for me. It's the hardest gig I've ever done, playing with my friend Neville, and I had to learn all this stuff. And we did 2, and I just felt, even after the second one, I was like, wow, that was really 60%. They were happy with it and they want to do another one, but I'm like, nah, that's below what I would expect. And I think they were being kind, to be honest, just because it was such a tough gig. So I actually felt pretty down after that.
Right.
About how well I'd played.
Right.
And I think that then played into feeling a little bit uninspired about what to do next.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's any of that going on. The point of telling the story is there's a gap between your expectation and the reality of it. Whereas, a bit back to Red Light Fever, if we can all just drop that a bit,
Sure,
and enjoy it for what it is in the moment, even playing something. What did we play? I did a covers gig just recently, and I got the list through, and I was like, oh really? Long Train Running.
Yeah. Okay.
Bad Moon Rising. And I thought, no, there are reasons why these are 2 of the biggest songs in the world ever.
Sure.
There are really solid reasons why they're such fantastic songs. I just need to find a way to enjoy it.
Right.
And to learn it and to play it properly. And what did I learn? The guitar part in Bad Moon Rising is 20 times harder than you think it is.
Sure.
So on the one hand, being a generally cup half full person, I'm like, oh no, I've got to play Bad Moon Rising. On the other hand, I'm like, do you know what? If I can get as close to this tone as poss and try and play it
The way it's done.
properly, the level of enjoyment in that is massive. So just a bit of a context reset, I guess. Stop being such a miserable sod about it all. And I'm not saying that's your case. I'm saying that was my case. So, but yeah, I don't know. Or is it purely familiarity breeding contempt? So you're just doing it too much.
Yeah, it can be that. But there's okay. I remember playing Summer of '69, right? And 2 chords, DNA, for most of it, a lot of it. And I remember thinking, all right, when you get to that solo, I'm just going to try and outline some chords. And I remember playing it and thinking, actually, because you're so used to that, and you get, that melody. Why is that melody so strong? Well, actually, it's really strong because it's voice linear, so it's outlining those chords beautifully. What if I in that solo section, what if I just tried outlining it something a bit differently?
So you're turning Brian into jazz, Dan? Is that what you're saying? I can hear him now.
No, but it's just like, actually, no, I was keeping it, but that was wrong. But what I found was actually I struggle keeping the chord in my head as I'm playing. And it was like, oh, okay, that's 2 chords. Why am I struggling with this? And then it led me to realizing there's stuff that I can do, and even during really simple songs, that I can work on to help my guitar playing. Yeah. So, find something that, even in really simple songs, you find things that are challenging.
Rosie's now... knocked the other hoodie off. This is the other hoodie that we've done, the other new hoodie. It simply says Das Pedal Show on it. Anyway. Rosie looked pretty cute there for a minute, I thought. Thank you for all the kind comments about Rosie, by the way, saying how glossy her coat is. She was groomed last week. She does look very acceptable and wants to eat that tea bag. You're not going to enjoy a tea bag, Rosie. You're just not. She wants to drink your water down. Right, there you go. Let's see then. Hi again, Duncan Plexico. He says, I do have a legit question. What are your experience with iconic guitars in terms of build and sound quality? Are they similar to Fender Custom Shop? I guess you're talking about Iconic Guitars, the brand, are you? If so, my answer is I've never played one. It looks like Andertons sell them.
Right.
Iconic Guitars. Iconic Guitars, crafted in California. Are these new?
I've never heard of them.
It's not John Cruise's new thing, is it?
I don't know.
Get to know us. The Kevin Proctor, Iconic Guitars.
Right.
Expert craftsmanship and laser focus. Yeah, they look nice. They look in that legacy of LSL. Just really nice. Predominantly.
Sure.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah, we'd have to play one, Duncan. I'm sure they're great. And apologies for not having more information. Called a Tamarack. Looks a lot like a Telecaster.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'd have to try them. They look very nice. which is a sort of veiled way of saying, God, why is everyone still making these guitars? Please just let Fender do it. But that's a whole other debate.
Yep.
Because, as I'm sure you're alluding, Duncan, and what is normally the argument from such makers is, Fender Custom Shop's one thing, they need to make lots and lots of guitars. If you do it in a slightly different way, you can make a superior instrument. So that's the argument, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look great. It would be nice to try one. Anderton sell them. I think we could make it happen.
Yeah.
Chris Groom. Chris, your continued generosity is humbling.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you so much.
And thanks to everyone who super chat. But Chris, my God, man, you're going to have to stop at some point. You're extremely generous. Thank you. He says, "Hi, Dan. Have a meat feast. All the best from Chris."
Thank you, buddy.
That's super kind of you, Chris. Thank you so much. Mike Day. Morning from Bakersfield, California.
Nice.
It was the Bakersfield sound, wasn't it? That was the Tele and Deluxe Reverb sound.
Where was the Fender factory?
Not in Bakersfield.
Okay. Where was it?
Fullerton.
Fullerton, okay. Nothing like Bakersfield.
I don't know. Never been to Bakersfield.
Why does a baker need a field?
To grow their wheat. To mill into flour.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe.
Glad we've answered that question for you.
Yep.
Next.
Yep. The Bakersfield sound is a thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, to wit.
To woo.
I have a Victory V30.
Nice.
If I run a UA Dream, a Universal Audio Dream 65, will I get the chime of a deluxe reverb into it? Thanks for all your fun and knowledge.
If you use the UA Universal Audio Dream into the effects return of the amplifier, it's a really tricky thing because you're talking about plugging an emulation of an amplifier into an amplifier. So it's tricky. I think you'd be better off plugging it into a full range, because we got in trouble when we did this, right? We had one, we plugged it into an amplifier and everyone's like...
Just to be clear, so UA make the 3 amp sim pedals, the Dream, the Ruby, and whatever the Tweed one's called, I'll remember in a minute. They are designed to be used, if you want, into the front, into the effects return, or if you turn the amp and cab simulation
so you can
on,
right, okay.
So you can use it into a regular guitar amp.
Right.
Just so happens that for the most deluxe reverb type experience, you probably want to do what he said, which is run it into a full range flat response, or indeed direct to a recording console. However, yes, turn the speaker simulation off, hit the effects loop return on your V30. I can't remember how the effects loop's configured in that amp, but it should be fine. Turn the speaker simulation off, keep the amp simulation on, run it into the effects loop return, and yeah, it will sound much more deluxe reverby.
Sure.
Simply because of the way it's EQ'd and the way the gain is structured and all of that.
Right.
Will it turn your V30 into a deluxe reverb?
What's the power stage in a V30?
26L6s.
Okay. So it's pretty open?
Yeah, it is pretty open.
So it could sound great.
Yeah, it will sound great.
Worth a go.
Depends a lot on the
speaker cab that you're
speaker
using.
cab. Yeah. And okay, so here's interesting. If you go the Dream route, you've then got a really good direct option for recording. You're into the digital modeling world. I actually think you get a more... I think it's going to sound more like a deluxe reverb if you use something like a Kingsley Maiden.
Yeah, right.
The Fender-y version of that, so a proper valve preamp pedal.
Oh, who did we have in on Friday that had a Maiden? And
you also don't get the latency issue.
Yeah.
But that's only if you want to use it in the amp only. If you want all the other benefits of running it direct, either to front of house or to a recording console or whatever, the Dream is a really good option.
Yeah. Who did we have it on Friday? Harrison.
Harrison, yeah. We did an experience day on Friday.
And beautiful guitar player, and he had the Maiden. And just as even plugged directly into the little Princeton that we had in the other room, far out, man. We might see Harrison again. Harrison's a young guy who came to our experience day, brought in a Strat, a normal Strat, 25.5-inch scale Strat,
tuned B to B as a baritone with some bigger strings. And that's his thing. Harrison is committed to this in the way that Joey's kind of committed to the C open E major intervals. And man, the sound he made was really special, really, really special. As Dan said, he had a Maiden and he feeds a Boogie 50-50 power amp. And I said to him, what cabs are you running then? Expecting him to say two 112s, a 412 and a 212.
Legend.
It sounds godlike. I hope we might see Harrison again, because it did give me an idea of what to do with Blue.
But yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah,
great
so
idea.
that was cool. How did we get onto that? Will the Dream 65 give me the chime of a deluxe reverb? Yeah, to a point, Mike, it certainly will.
Worth a try.
And I think if you're buying it only for that purpose, it might be slightly overkill, because you could probably get a long way there with other pedals and an EQ pedal. Actually, one really great one to check out would be the Crossfire by Crazy Tube Circuits.
Right.
It was there. It was there. I swear to you, it was there. Anyway, it's called the Crossfire by Crazy Tube Circuits, and it is a tube screamer into a deluxe reverb
Yeah.
in a pedal, and I think it sounds spectacular. I'll tell you why it's not there. I think it's on my pedal board,
Right.
unless it's back there somewhere, which is also possible.
Okay.
And that'll do you in an analog world, and that'll do a great job of it as well. So if you're going to take advantage of the direct to desk, direct to front of house, the Dream is a good shout. If you want to stick it straight into your amp, I think either the Crossfire or a Kingsley Maiden's a better bet, personally.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Cool.
because the V30 has quite a nice reverb. Right. Whit Anderson. Hello, Whit. Greetings from Hopewell, New Jersey.
Nice.
Friday's show was top 10 TPS. Very entertaining and educational. His pedal board, perfection for me. Hope all have recovered from COVID. Much love from Whit.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Aka woo.
Yeah, he's the pedal board was wonderful. Come on down. Come on up. Good girl. So I've
Dan's got the paws round the neck. That is only reserved for the truly special.
I've had some wonderful conversations with the guys at XTS in Nashville, and their build stuff is amazing. They did a video of their build of Andy Wood's rig.
Yeah, nice.
Far out, man. They're so on it, those guys. Yeah. And Sean's pedal board is a really great example of their incredible work.
And what a lovely all-rounder, do anything.
It's amazing.
It was heartwarming to see the rat on there.
Yeah.
And with the humbucker
Humbucker on the bridge is like,
sounded
hello.
so great. Sounded so great. Thank you for that, Whit, for the kind words. Ran's there. Hello, Ran.
Hey, mate.
Dear Tonalities. Hope you're fully recovered.
Very good.
Yeah, it's weird. For those of you who've had COVID, perfectly timed cough there from
There
Dan. Everyone's experience seems to be quite different on the in, as it were. So people are affected worse or less badly in terms of symptoms, but the follow seems to be just being completely knackered.
Sure. Yeah.
For a minute. So we're still working through that, but hey, it's a small problem compared to a lot of crap that's going on in the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
G Barge, hello G.
Hey, mate.
Soulmates, SOLE mates.
Very good.
I hope you are well. I sang When I'm 64 last week and I meant it.
Oh, wow.
Congrats.
Oh, happy birthday, mate.
Congrats. Been wondering if I'd get there since 1967. Also picked up a boneyard from that pedal shop. Reports of unavailability appear exaggerated. Peace, says G. Thank you, G.
And the 67 would be 54.
I think it was probably released in 67.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I'm guessing. Yeah. Yes, Thorpe phoned us in a bit of a panic, actually, and said, why are you listing boneyards on that pedal shop? No one's got any. And we're like,
Okay.
turns out that pedal shop had 6.
No way.
Yeah, they had 6. They found 6 from somewhere.
Brilliant.
So they sold quickly. Nice one for getting one, G, because they are rocking horse doo-doo.
And they're amazing.
Rand's there with the question, just been through a bout of it too. he says, referring to dear old COVID. Since then, I can't muster the energy to pick up a guitar.
Oh dear.
Even though when I do, it's instant bliss. It's like I lost my will. Do you have any tips? I think there's a theme coming through this week. Hang in there.
Yeah.
That's the tip.
I want to play guitar every day. And the more I play, the more I want to play. But I think a big part of that is I'm not playing 5 nights a week anymore. And when I was doing that, I found it very hard to get inspired doing stuff. Try, I don't know, if there's something that you've always wanted to learn to play. You're right, baby girl. Look down. Come on, there you go. Good girl. Yeah. It's a really tricky one.
Yeah, just hang in there. Know that, like all matters of the mind, it's not there to stay.
Yeah. Everyone goes through it.
Ride it out. Do something else. Easy to say, hard to do. Don't think about it. Do something else.
Yeah.
And come back to it when you feel like it.
Yep.
And it'll feel anew.
Yeah.
Having Dan and I both veterans of feeling like that for the past 30 some years. And you just learn to take it with the ebb and flow of what it is.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
yeah, don't worry.
Indeed.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Second note wants to know, Dan, is Frusciante, or Frusciante, as a lot of people get very twisty about, using your gig rig switcher now, Dan?
He is.
He is.
He is. So,
Oh.
but the way he uses it is underneath his pedal board, and it's used as a... Yes, sweetheart.
No barking, Rosie.
It's used as a...
Otherwise you're going out.
If he has... So he still switches his pedals on because that's the way he likes to do it. But his pedals are very old and a bit wobbly, and if he ever has any issues with them, they just switch it out with the quartermaster.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So, and that's underneath his board. But yeah, he's got one on there.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah, it's great.
Does the world need PRS pedals, says Whiskers B, and linked to that, David Ennis, have we talked about the horse meat yet? So you may have seen that PRS has released some pedals. One is an analog phaser, I think. Or is it a
flanger.
Analog flanger, sorry,
it's a
my
dual
mistake.
LFO flanger, which is... So that's the one thing about... I saw those pedals. If PRS had come in with 3 overdrive pedals, I would say no.
Yes, well, that's the point. So when
Yeah.
when they got in touch and said, do you want to check these pedals out? I'm like, oh no, 3 overdrive pedals. No, we don't. And then being totally grumpy about it. And then the nice lady sent through the press release and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Paul's had a hand in this.
He's really
clearly.
cool.
There's a compressor, an overdrive. I think calling it the horse meat, we'll have to ask him about that because he's coming here. Can you believe that? Paulie Smith is coming here.
I can't quite believe it.
I
But yes,
can't.
he's coming on the show and we're going to chat about pedals and everything PRS.
I can't quite believe it. As you know, Dan and I aren't massively into like having endless manufacturers on the show because it can become a bit of a sort of marketing jamboree.
But I've never met him.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated to
he's
meet him.
genuinely one of the most interesting people in the whole damn business.
Right.
And whatever you think about Paul, about his guitars, about his company, whatever you think, he is a true innovator. He is one of the
totally
few
is.
people in the last 50 years to have done something new and have it stick. And for that, I think he deserves eternal respect. I met him first 25 years ago.
Right.
And since then, I've met him quite a few times in between. Haven't seen him hardly at all in the last 10. So it'll just be fascinating, I think. It'll be a fascinating chat.
Yep.
I would say if you've got any questions that you want us to ask, by all means, write them in the comment section.
Where is he?
Do you want to go in there then? Do you want to go?
I'll sort of.
Just open the door.
Yeah.
Let her go and have a wander around. Yeah, I think it'll be fascinating. You know, we can talk. What can we talk? Silver Sky. We can talk new pedals. Does the world need any more new pedals? I don't know. Probably not. But are they interesting? Would they sound good? Might it spark some kind of inspiration? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's, when you look at what they've brought out, right? So obviously a really clever column type thing, but the dual LFO flanger, I saw that and just went, yeah, come on, awesome. And a really interesting looking compressor. So yeah, I'm well up for trying them out.
Yeah. Nice. G Barge. Paul is the definition of unique. He really is. And he is truly, truly, truly passionate. So that basically ticks every requirement of coming on that pedal show as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Good. So we will get into those. We do have them. Haven't taken them out of the box yet. 3 OPMG. Hello, Legends. Great fuzz episode. I recently acquired a 74 Fox Fuzz WA, or that might mean Fox Fuzz Wah.
Right.
And volume. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Fox Fuzz Wah and volume. And I'm in love. Do you know if the wah or the fuzz in the circuit is first?
No idea.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a thing on the internet
searching
you
device
could
that
just
you could-
type in a question and it would tell you? This is dead air.
I know. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of this. So this is interesting. Cypress Glenn says the world needs unique pedals. Unfortunately, they just don't seem to sell that well. People would rather have the millionth Tube Screamer copy. It is interesting. I think, the Tube Screamer, people understand it. They know what it is. They know the sound and variations thereon. It's not really, you have loads of different things and there's, and people are still bringing out versions of the Tube Screamer. Like even just the last few months, we've had the Moxie, we've got the new one from Origin. It's still a really interesting circuit and it sounds great with guitar, so people experiment with it. The stuff that you don't know and it's more difficult to understand is a lot more difficult to sell because you have to explain to people and educate people what it does.
Yeah, but there's a kind of lowest common denominator argument to apply to all of this, isn't it? Why does EastEnders get so many more views on the TV than Rosie? Off.
Come on, Rosie. Come on, Dal. Come on.
She's interested in tomorrow's pedalboard. Why does some trashy soap get loads more views than some hard hitting documentary on any topic you might want to mention? It's just more popular.
Yeah, of course.
More people like it. So, we moan about our politicians, we moan about all the crappy stuff we have to buy, but we buy it. I'll give you newspapers as an example. So it's out there. The esoteric, amazing stuff is totally out there. And I guess to your point, Cypress Glen, yeah, it's great that it is out there and it's great that it's there to be enjoyed.
Yep.
But as he said, you got to dig a bit for it, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, from a retailer's point of view, I guess that's why so much of the boutique pedal world is now largely online and increasingly available either direct or from a very, very small number of manufacturers. Because, look at it from a retailer's point of view. I can sell 50 Boss OD3s next week, or I can sell one insert obscure pedal here in the next 2 years. It's just a no-brainer, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. I like Tube Screamers anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
David Tompkins, horse meat is so named because it eats Clon centaurs for breakfast.
We shall see. We shall see.
It's no worse than any rat or big muff or any other silly name we've gotten used to. Yeah, I think there's a point there. There's probably a point there. I don't like that. I don't like it when manufacturers say it just kills this. I don't like it. Because if it kills it, it's different.
Yeah.
If it's different, it's different.
Rosie.
And that doesn't necessarily mean better. Anyway, we shall see.
We shall see.
We shall see. We shall see. Why does EastEnders have more viewers than TPS, says Stephen Perrins?
It's a travesty.
Yeah. Especially, have you seen their lighting lately?
No.
It's really odd.
I can honestly say I've never seen it.
It's really odd. We still don't know. After having said, wouldn't it be great if we had a search engine where we could decide which order the fuzz and the wah came. I still don't know.
I'll do some.
I got into a circuit diagram and realised I don't know anything about circuits. Steve Mass. Hello, Steve.
Hey,
It's
Steve.
really nice to hear from you. I hope you're doing okay, mate. He says, I just saw a Brian May interview. He said he got the idea of using an AC30 with a treble booster from Rory Gallagher playing live.
Wow.
Fascinating how one generation influences the next. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I've been guilty of saying on the show that Brian May used it before Rory, which of course is not true.
Yeah. So when he was in, was it Smile?
Taste.
No, sorry, no. Rory was in Taste. The band before Queen, I think, was a band called Smile.
Who cares? No.
And I think they were doing gigs where they were sharing amps.
Oh, no way.
It's true of Rory and whether it's Brian May. I know that
Smile, yeah. English rock band in London, predecessor to Queen.
Yeah.
Formed in '68 by Brian May. I never knew that, man.
There you go.
And Tim Staffel. Huh. And then that would have been the time we think he would have been influenced by.
Yeah.
I didn't realise Rory was around that early. One needs to do one's homework.
Yeah. Because if you think of Taste, when that was happening, which was one of Rory's early things, and Dave Gregory first put me onto that because I never really got the Rory thing, and said, "Oh, you need to listen to this," and I heard it. I was like, "Oh, okay, that was awesome." And I love it how a treble booster into an AC30 cranked, and everyone sounds completely different. You know, there's a commonality to it, but they're so connected.
As Dan will attest, Dan is a massive fan of treble boosters. I've always struggled with them, largely because they all sound so different. We've got, I can see 4 just looking here, and they all sound markedly different.
Yeah.
Have to say though, that Hello Sailor one, Hello Joe, by the way, I think that's the best one I've ever heard for my own personal taste.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Paul Matulovic. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
We'll be seeing you in October, I think. Brian May is an insane wizard. Discuss. I don't think he's insane, but he is a wizard. But in all seriousness, what are your thoughts? Dan, in particular, seems to share most of the gear and proggy propensities.
So Brian May, he built that guitar with his dad. I built a guitar with my dad when I was a kid. It wasn't a great guitar, but I still did it. There's a
New information all the time.
yeah.
Really?
So yeah. I had a neck, and we designed a body and put some pickups in it and stuff, and yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a tabletop thing, but anyway.
Wow, never knew that.
I think because Brian May is a genius. You know, he's like an astrophysicist, like so super clever. And when you look at what he did at the time, and if anyone's ever tried playing a harmony on a loop pedal, right? Get a loop pedal and then try playing harmonies, and you see how tight you get it. Then you go back and have a listen to what Brian May was doing with tape.
Yeah.
And his playing is so perfect.
Yeah.
It is so on. And when I hear it, I just find it astounding. No one, even guys that have laid down harmonies, no one sounded like that. No one's ever sounded like that since, and he's just found his thing. The other thing, which I absolutely love about it, is that when he found his thing, he stuck to it. He's like, okay, I've got my AC30s and they're cranked, and I've got my little DK amplifier, and that adds something different, and I've got my treble booster. It doesn't work with buffers, so I'll put the treble booster on my strap, while my guitar will go into the treble booster. That goes into wireless, so I can run around. It's on all the time. And he's just stuck with that thing. What he gets his different sounds from is all the different phase combinations from the pickups that he in that guitar.
Yeah.
I just think it's like, for me, like David Gilmour included, and so many great, amazing players, they find their thing, they feel connected to it, and they say, okay, this is what I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore this sound.
This is my world.
Yep, this is my world.
Well, I guess context is important there, isn't it? Because if your world is Queen, then, my goodness, you've got some fair ground in which to explore it.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe, and massive generalization warning, you could say that when you talk about Hendrix and Gilmour and Clapton and maybe Peter Green and Van Halen and all the greatest guitar players who have ever been, for quite a few people, Brian gets overlooked in that, but he absolutely deserves to be in there.
He absolutely
and
does.
I wonder if one of the reasons he gets overlooked was because Queen was such an epic band.
Yeah.
So you're alongside, just without doubt, some of the greatest and most creative and most successful songs of all time, alongside Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look, is there a guy playing guitar over there? Not sure. Can't take my eyes off this guy. So I wonder if that's part of it. You know, the music that Queen made, although totally guitar driven and absolutely could be described as guitar music, probably not seen as such because it was so flipping pop music, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, just latterly. I know earlier it was a bit rockier. Yeah, nice.
Indeed.
Nice. What was the question?
What do we think of Brian May?
Oh, he's an insane wizard. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he's insane, but he is certainly
Definitely
a
a
wizard.
wizard.
Yeah. Harrison.
Hey, Harrison.
This is Harrison.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he says,
fantastic.
Thanks for having us all on Friday. Great day with some great people and epic tones. Endlessly inspiring. Well, I'm glad you thought so, Harrison,
Yeah.
because, you lit something up in me, man, in a big way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us all. It was very moving.
Yeah,
I saw a
definitely.
tear or two in people's eye when you were playing. Very nice.
I often aspire a tear or two in people's eye.
That guitar makes you... You
It
make
does.
that guitar sing.
You make that guitar scream, "Put me down!"
It was nice to see you, Harrison. Thanks for coming. Dr. Saxman 33. Dr. Saxman 33. Love everything you guys do. I know, Rose. I know we did say 6:30, didn't we? And it's 18:29, and this is the Spaniel reminder. I know.
We're coming, Dom. We're coming.
I know. It is the Spaniel reminder. I'm thinking of dipping my toes into an all-in-one wet-dry rig. Any thoughts, experience with the Orange Rocker 32?
So that's the stereo amp. All in one.
Yeah, but it's got the separate return, hasn't it? So you can split, I think.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Give it a go. We're going to do a show on this. The most important thing with any of those things is to be happy with the core tone of the amplifier, because you can color it endlessly, but unless you're happy with the core tone of the amp, then you're always going to be chasing something. But if you're happy with it, it's going to work great.
Yeah, I think the question is it easier and cheaper than using two little amps?
Is that the question?
No,
I understand. No, I
because
understand.
you want to go all in one.
Yeah, if you want to go all in one,
And there's great advantage to that, but maybe for the same sort of money,
you can get two little things.
you could get two little things, and the result might be better.
Yeah, because the difference being that you can mix and match with different amps with the wet dry thing. But I think if you like the sound of the Orange, it's a great option.
So Rosie has decided to eat something. Sorry, dog's getting yes, we did play it on the show once many moons ago, and that's as much as I can remember.
Sure.
Yeah, but Orange make great stuff.
They do.
Loads of people love them.
Yep.
Paul Matulovic.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. I listened to the new Brothers album, Brothers Landreth. Excellent stuff, but I couldn't help but feel that it must be awkward for Joey's spouse. In general, how awkward do you feel it must be for other artists who have material about past loves, etc.? It's a great question. It's a great question.
Well, okay. Yeah, it's difficult. Like, my wife and I often have a chat when you see an actor on stage making out with someone. It's like, how does their partner feel about that? And obviously, they're paid to do a job, and if they're acting, I don't know. I don't know. I'd find it very uncomfortable. But part of the thing about being an artist is being open and honest.
Yeah.
And it's a snapshot in time. You know,
I think there's a difference too. Like if you're, and I'm going to use the example of Diane Warren because she's an amazing chart-topping, incredible songwriter who's written millions of amazing songs.
Mm-hmm.
My assumption is that Diane Warren doesn't necessarily draw on intensely personal experience for every single one of those songs.
Sure.
So when Celine's belting it out, or Meatloaf, or whoever else she's written songs for, I'm sure she's, you know, writing songs based on things she's heard and, you know, whatever. We're just going to sell 1 million records. Some artists are absolutely drawing on intensely personal, close to home
Sure.
things, and they're doing it part as therapy. Joey may or may not be doing that. We certainly know people who definitely are doing that. I guess that's where it becomes more difficult.
Brian Mills says, ask Taylor Swift's latest fella. He must be the expert. Yeah, very good.
I am a big Taylor Swift fan, by the way. And I think whether Soul writes or co-writes some of the best pop rock songs ever written.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
How are we doing?
Yeah, so yeah, good question, Paul. I guess you'd probably have to ask Anna that question. Greg Sachs, hello Greg. Any suggestions for a fuzz? No. Andrew is first. Andrew, I got a zonk and a fuzz face on a board. What order should they go, as they both want to see the guitar? Switcher isn't an option.
So, as long as you're not using them together, even if you're using them together, those, as long as they're true bypass, and and it's a good true bypass, and you can check it out, but you're still seeing the guitar.
You should be all right.
You should be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If you've got any concerns, try them, you know, swap them over and just see if you're hearing any difference.
Yeah.
As long as you're using, you know, really short, good quality patch lead between them, you should be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Typically, and please note that this is typically, not all the time, one characteristic of a really great fuzz face is they clean up nice. So I would be tempted to put the fuzz face first. Zonks tend not to clean up quite as well as fuzz-fi. Therefore, I'd just put it after.
Sure.
Because it's not quite so critical. I.e., it's more critical if you want the clean up that the fuzz face is closer to your guitar. But as he said, if it's good true bypass, shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I personally would go zonk second, but as he said, try them.
Yep.
Paul Matulovic again. Paul, he says, I've got a quick gig rig question for Dan. When plugging a distributor into another, the dog has farted, by the way. I think there's one in the tube.
There's one in the chamber.
Yeah, there's one in the chamber. It needs to come out, Rosie,
right.
doesn't it? I know. We have just changed her food in the last week. So it could be working its way through, couldn't it, Rose? Paul Matulovic, quick gig rig question for Dan.
Yep.
When plugging a distributor into another, is the total amperage, current draw, split between the two, or should the output of the single port of the first distributor?
So you've got 6 outputs on the distributor, right? You want all your really high current stuff going from the original distributor, and then, you know, the cables that go from the distributor are capable of, you know, more than an amp and a half. So the cable that goes to the second distributor, you don't want the second distributor to be loading anything more than an amp and a half. So
something went wrong.
excuse me.
Would you like me to get you some more water, Daniel?
No, I've got some water. Thank you. Sorry. Right. Yeah. So just make sure you plug all of your high current adapters or G3 or whatever off your first distributor, and then, you know, if you're running isolators and whatever off the second distributor, then yeah, you'll be fine.
I guess what he's saying is there a maximum current from one output of a distributor?
So I would say from the cable can easily handle an amp and a half.
Yeah.
Right? So if you've got all the, you know, all the really high current stuff running from the first distributor, and then the lower current stuff running
Yeah.
from the second distributor.
Because if you're coming straight from the generator into a distributor, you got 5 amps
Exactly.
into that first distributor.
Yep.
Therefore, each one of those 6 outputs can give you up to, what do you say, an amp and a half?
Amp and a
each?
half on the cable. So obviously you're not going to draw an amp and a half because the generator doesn't deliver that much. It's 5 amps, which is massive. But if you've got, let's say you've got, for example, the G3 and 4 really high current, digital pedals, you'd run those directly from the 4 outputs of the distributor, with your high current adapters, etc.
Yeah.
And then all your analog pedals, you might go to the second distributor and that goes into some isolators and that powers all your overdrive and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends how many you need.
Yeah. If you have any specific questions about that stuff, you can get in touch through the gig rig and we can.
Or ask us
sort
when
it
you
out.
come here, Paul.
Yeah.
The experience.
There you go.
Greg Sachs.
Hey, Greg.
Any suggestions for a fuzz that can get in the tone of a fuzz face and a tone bender for cover band purposes? Glad you're both well. Depends what tone bender you're talking about. So big difference between most tone benders and a fuzz face is the tone bender is a 3 transistor circuit,
Yeah.
fuzz face is 2. Therefore, the fuzz from a tone bender tends to be thicker, fuzzier, doesn't clean up as well.
But the Thorpe Boneyard,
Yeah.
you've got some switches that go to between the Tone Bender Mark II and the Tone Bender 1.5, and the 1.5 is the 2 transistor fuzz. So
Yeah.
if you can find a Thorpe
Which you
Boneyard,
won't be able to.
yeah, but that for me, that's the easiest one. Yeah,
Crazy suggestion. What would happen if you hit a fuzz face type with a treble booster? Or vice versa? So could you get something like a Thorpe Veteran or the Analog Man
Sunline.
Sunline? Yeah. Not the same thing? Not the same thing?
Well, in those circuits, the treble booster is after
Okay.
the fuzz.
Yeah. So no, not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Other than that, hasn't JHS just done an everything fuzz in the same way that they did the Bonsai?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought he had. I could be wrong.
No, he's done.
He did the Muff Letter,
Yeah, and they did the Tube Screamer,
the Bonsai.
the Bonsai. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Current pedals.
I tell you what, if you find, because even though the actually John W777, sorry, no, not John. Where is it? Octopus Ear says my Sunbender 1.5 is amazing. Yeah, and that is the Analog Man Sunbender, which is a mix between the Sunface and the Tone Bender. So that's a really good option.
Yeah. Did I suggest that down or was I dreaming that?
You were dreaming. Tell him he's dreaming.
Oh, that's your dream. Someone asked if the full-length Brothers Landreth video would be out this week. It will. I'm just waiting for some copyright to clear, annoyingly, on the tracks.
Right.
Everyone's working hard to try and make it work, and,
It takes a while.
YouTube plus corporation plus idiot YouTubers. That's a grey area right
Sure.
there. But there's going to be 2 videos. One is an hour and 40 some video of the whole conversation and 3 tracks, and then there's a 20-minute video of all 4 tracks.
Sure.
Including, the reason I said it, a cover of 2 Trains by Little Feat by Lal George. It's flipping great.
It's amazing.
It's flipping great.
Yeah.
Hopefully either tomorrow or Wednesday, depending on the copyright situation.
Lovely.
Greg Sachs, I know we've had you. Albus Band.
Hey, mate.
I believe virtually everything I read.
That makes me more of a selective.
Human being than someone who believes nothing. Hope you're well. What would you not want to be reincarnated as? Love you guys.
I wouldn't want to be reincarnated as someone who believes in reincarnation. How's that?
Whoa, Dan.
No, I don't know.
There's a cat and some pigeons.
What's a cat?
You wouldn't, of all the things in the world, you wouldn't want to be really
Okay, a pigeon.
cat's got to be top of the list, doesn't it?
A loved cat would be top of the list.
Arthur. Think about being Arthur.
Yeah, that's
Our
true.
cat.
Yeah, I don't know.
I sent down a picture the other night. I was watching Frozen Planet 2. Rosie? Should we stop that? Good girl. I was watching Frozen Planet 2 and there's these polar bears, right? Now, polar bears endangered, having all sorts of problems because the ice cap's melting, etc. All these polar bears, right? Massive polar bears swim for something stupid like 10 days to get to this place where all the other polar bears go and the food is really scarce.
Unreal.
So then they just kick the crap out of each other in a sort of Highlander in polar bear land. You know, like there's Christopher Lambert, the Kurgan, Sean Connery, and they all flipping jump into the water and swim to this ice place to kill each other.
Right. Nice.
So I sent down the picture going,
I'm out.
I don't want to be reincarnated as a polar bear. That just seems like too much hard work.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
Have you seen
yeah.
the way they hunt in the snow?
It's just like punched through the ice.
When they're sneaking up on someone, their paw comes up and hides their nose.
Really?
It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway,
There's all sorts of legends about polar bears. Isn't it? Like they're all left-handed. Have you heard that one? No. Apparently so. Anyway, so I'm out for a polar bear. Thanks, Aaron.
do they restring or do they just play upside down?
They're too busy using it as a paddle, I think, to get to the thing. Although another favourite TV show at the moment is Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse's Gone Fishing,
Okay.
which is basically two middle-aged men talking about when they're going to die while they do
Brilliant.
fishing, and it's the best telly ever. Anyway, crane fly, right, spends 2 years as a larval nymph thing,
Right.
hammering around in the bottom of streams. Come the fateful day in May when it decides to go, I'm going to be a crane fly now,
Right.
floats up to the surface, and apparently the metamorphosis happens as it floats up and flies off.
Right.
2 years it's been
Yeah. Swimming around.
bottom feeding, which agreed isn't like an ideal life, but
Right.
anyway, they've had 2 years of it. 24 hours.
No.
24 hours. Basically,
Boy, oh boy.
released, have loads of sex, die.
Well, that'll work for me. Fine.
As long as they don't get eaten by a trout on the way out.
Yeah, right.
Imagine that, like, yeah.
Ah, done.
So I think crane fly.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Either in larval or fully pupated. And, yeah. Thanks, Aaron. It's always a good question.
Thank you, mate.
Airfire. Ed, hello, mate.
Hey, buddy.
He says, I can't wait for my harmonious monk to arrive. Royal Mail strikes permitting. You can thank JHS for the 3 series going out of stock and me being very jealous. Oh, I see. Yeah, they've done a harmonic tremolo, haven't they, in the 3 series?
Oh, they have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for buying that, Ed. That's very kind of you, and we really hope you enjoy it. Really, really hope you enjoy it. David Rustad. I'm overwhelmed with warm, fuzzy feelings for Marcus Reeves. My dad got me a Leo for my birthday, and I'm speechless, both at the gift and at the wonder and beauty of everything Marcus does. Well, good news for you, David. Firstly, congratulations on that amazing pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I'm looking at one right now on the floor. That will be in a video that Dan and I are going to make tomorrow. So you'll be able to see what woeful noises we can make with it as well.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah, congrats. Murray Guitar Pickups, he says, good day from South Australia.
G'day, mate.
I'm 33.3% of non-Australians in this room.
Indeed.
In fact, I'm 100% of non-Australians. I'm 33% of humans in this room.
That are non-Australian.
66.6% of which are Australians.
Indeed.
I think Rosie's probably British. But who knows? Anyway, hello, Murray. Stephen Perrins. I'm speeding up because it's galloping towards meat feast time. Stephen Perrins, and I think Rosie's about to do us a sausage. Thank you for the big amp, little amp episode, says Stephen Perrins. It persuaded me to ditch the modelling practice amp and grab a fab little Palmer 1-watt Wonder.
Oh, fantastic.
I haven't heard that. We should get one of those in and play it alongside the
100 watt to the
whatever size trees they are.
yeah. The big trees.
Is it big, is it?
Yeah.
Big trees, yeah.
Yeah,
1
it's
watt.
awesome.
And they call
one
it the big trees.
big trees. Yeah, it's incredible.
Is there a small trees?
Yes, there is.
How many watts is the small
It's
trees?
the same thing, but it's a smaller version.
Right.
It doesn't have all the. It's just got one knob on it. Yeah, but
Okay.
the big trees is incredible.
Nice. Palmer Eins. Palmer's a German company, so Eins presumably means one. Yeah, I'd like to hear that. Not least because, Stephen, we talked to Simon Jarrett when he was here last about his lovely Valve Pre's into a very nice little low power
Power amp.
amp
Yeah.
as a really good alternative for exactly what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
great shout.
We should do that.
Indeed.
I'm quite interested in that.
Okay.
Nick Tilleros. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
This is a gig rig question. I'm interested to get a power plan from you guys and power supply for my new HX Stomp pedal board. Super excited. Hope to hear from you soon. Yeah, that's the gig rig.
Yeah, great. Just, you can order a power plan online and we'll get it sorted and get it back to you.
Cool.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Hope you enjoy that. David Rustad, finally tonight. And in case it's not clear, feelings for my dear old dad, even warmer and fuzzier than for Marcus.
Ah, lovely.
Yes, because your dad got you the Leo for your birthday. I was fearing some sort of tragic story there. No tragedy here,
No.
just meat feast is
Yep.
awaiting.
Indeed.
Nice one.
Yep.
All right, let me just double check that we have indeed covered off all the super chats. We have.
Fabulous.
Thank you for being with us
Yeah.
in the usual shambles of VCQ.
It's endearing. The endearing shambles.
Endearing, yeah.
Yeah.
An endearing shamble. That'd be a good t-shirt.
It would be great. Great t-shirt.
What's coming up this week? Hopefully the Landress videos. Dan has done about 25 vlogs in his sort of rather like the cranefly nymph spending 2 years bottom feeding and then making its glorious exit for 24 hours of vast sexual enjoyment. Dan has done about 50 vlogs all to come out in one hit. So some really good stuff coming from Dan over the next couple of weeks.
Stuff.
Yeah. I've watched most of them so far, given that there are only 24 hours in a day. Really, really good, mate.
Oh, bless you.
The telly one is particularly good. He's told the story of this guitar.
Yeah.
So get ready to enjoy that. Hopefully more Landreths, and on Friday will be the story of that guitar.
Indeed. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to everyone, all the patrons who are listening to this via the podcast. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Friday.
We will. See you Friday.
Yep.
Play us out, Dan.
Okay.